show brought to you by GoDaddy.com. Use promo code TVI6 and get $5 off any order over $30.
Verizon's iPhone killer, in quotes, is coming out in the next couple weeks. It's called the Motorola Droid. Verizon's been hyping it as a direct comparison to the iPhone, saying it does so many things that the iPhone doesn't. But is that really the case? Is it really going to be head and shoulders above the iPhone? We bring in a couple technology journalists to talk about it. First off, Andrew Nusca from ZDNet. Andrew, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
Also, we bring in Matt Buchanan from Gizmodo. Matt, thanks for being with us as well. So last year it was the Storm that Verizon was hyping. This year it's the Droid. They're putting their full marketing effort behind this. Andrew, what do they have to do to live up to this hype that they're creating for the Droid?
Well, they got to make sure they get it in people's hands, for one. The good news is that Verizon has a lot of subscribers. They're number one in that area. But I think that price point is definitely one big point. And then the other thing is that it's a sliding QWERTY form factor, which appeals to some and doesn't appeal to others.
But with this amount of hype, Matt, a lot of people want to look at this and say maybe this is the Verizon smartphone we've all been looking for. I mean, can they live up to that hype, or what does this need to actually be to have that really be the case?
Well, the thing is, most people tend to pick their carrier based on the carrier they want, and people who go to Verizon certainly don't go there for the phone offerings. God knows, nobody's over there because of the smartphone selection. So it could help with that crowd in some regards, but it's definitely, Android still has kind of a nerdy vibe to it. So it's if you would ask a normal person, have you heard of this Motorola Droid? No, they haven't heard of it. It's nerds now, so they still definitely have a ways to go in that regard.
I'm really interested to see with Android's progress. Android 2.0 is supposed to be on this device. We've seen some screenshots, whatever. It looks a little bit interesting. Andrew, Android, like Matt said, is sort of this nerd hackers OS for smartphones. Do you think that this could sort of bring it out of that mindset, or how? I mean, is that something Verizon even really needs to do?
I definitely think it's a hurdle. Most people, first heard about the Droid by that ad that they were running, where they parody an Apple ad and then they turn it around and they have a really ominous looking, vague Droid thing, and then that's it, and they give the date. And I think, ominous, the word Android, the word Droid, I mean, they're all gonna it's all gonna appeal to geeks, but it's definitely not going to appeal to like suburban soccer moms. And I think the big point is that when you watch that ad, you go, I really do like the Apple ads and the the chipper music and all that. And when the Droid comes around, it's kind of a buzzkill,
Yeah,
Well, they have to show what the phone can do. I mean, the Hero is really interesting because of the interface that's on there, and it's a little bit more polished, it's a little bit nicer than most of the other Android phones. And Verizon can't really go around and say, oh, it's Android 2.0, nobody cares about that. Like, they have to show what the phone can do and make it appeal to people on that level. The best Android phone ever, that doesn't mean squat to most people.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are those things that it has to do, really? Matt, I mean, you mentioned, no one understands what Android 2.0 is. What would they understand maybe that would make them want to go out and pick this up?
Applications. Android finally has a bunch of applications. Apple's been pretty successful running ads showing how many applications they have. Android has over 10,000 now. A lot of them have actually gotten useful. They've gotten better. They have a Facebook app now. They have Foursquare app, which is, again, kind of a nerd thing. But, there's an app ecosystem there that they can, point to. Android 2.0 is more polished. They could show web browsing on it with full flash. That's a pretty big thing. They could, there are things that they can exploit like that. And they're kind of doing that with the iDoesnt campaign.
Yeah.
But they just sort of have to drive that forward. The marketing is definitely, even in that regard, it's still taking on Apple, but I think it's better than the Pre's marketing, which really failed miserably in a lot of ways, showing what this phone could do.
I think the Pre's marketing was sort of this fashionista set that Palm seems to be obsessed with, and they're going for brand. But realistically, I mean, I feel like Motorola's blitz, or maybe Verizon more specifically, the blitz of the airwaves, at least has people. I've had a couple people ask me like, "What's the deal with this Droid does thing?"
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at least speaks for something. Andrew, like, if you're recommending a smartphone to a regular person, quote unquote, I mean, is the Droid something you would feel comfortable doing? And I mean, of course, this is kind of based on, conjecture of a phone that's not even out yet. But that being said, Android in general, I mean, is it really going to be to that point where you could say, hey, soccer mom, maybe think about this in addition to the iPhone, or is it still just the iPhone for you?
I wouldn't say it's just the iPhone, but I definitely wouldn't say it's the Droid. I don't know. There's something about the Droid that comes off to me. We mentioned the geek thing, but it's also kind of a business thing. I mean, you look at it, it's kind of all business in terms of the look of things and the name. And, if there was a phone that I would recommend that wasn't the iPhone, maybe it would be the Pre, because, we don't have to have a huge application environment. It just has to have the applications that people are accustomed to.
It'll have to be solid. Anyway, guys, we're going to leave it there. Andrew Nusca from ZDNet, thanks for coming on the program. Really appreciate it. Also,
thank you. Matt
Buchanan from Gizmodo, thanks for being on the show as well.
Thanks. Have a good weekend.
I'm Randall Bennett. Don't forget, you can catch us on iTunes. We're on YouTube. And a special thanks to our sponsor, GoToMeeting. You can get 30 days for free by heading to gotomeeting.com/techpodcasts. They'll hook you up there. See ya.